What is up, everybody? Welcome to another Middle Tennessee Geek. I'm Matt, and let's see if my co-host is going to do this. There's Tyler. Is it working?
I don't know if you can hear me, but the voice
Yes,
is
we
like
can hear you.
toast. Okay, cool. I can see you now. This is cool. I like this.
Yeah. For those of watching, unfortunately, we used to use StreamYard, but they jacked up their prices, and I wasn't going to pay for it from no more than what I used it. So, trying a new one called Talk Studio. It's similar to StreamYard, but just a little bit different. I'm trying to still figure it all out. And, tonight's our kind of a trial period, so y'all get to be my guinea pigs. Um, how am I sounding? Huh? I got a new mic set up here. Hopefully, it's sounding good.
Yeah, sounds really good.
Good.
Sounds great.
All right. We got Nathan in the chat. Thanks, Nathan, for showing up here. Almost thought I was going to be late, like I was messaging Tyler. My little one, she's got a tooth ready to come out, so we thought we was going to be able to pull it tonight, but not looking like she's going to let us do that. She's still fighting it. And unfortunately, I could not get Instagram to connect. So any of those that are on Facebook or Instagram, sorry, come to YouTube. But tonight is Back to the Future 2. It is, well, we got the Real Life Perspective joining us here.
What's
Thanks
up,
for stopping
buddy?
in.
Yeah.
And I got, I'm trying to figure it out. Let's see if it helps me a little bit with hearing. All right. But yeah, we got today is October 21st, and if you watch Back to the Future Part 2, you know they go back to the future on October 21st, 2015, which we've already surpassed that and then some, but I still love the movie. Tyler, I think, has watched the movie.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You know, I brought my
Oh, yeah, you got the Lego one.
mini Doc Brown and
And you
Marty
can actually
along
see
here. So
behind your shoulder, under your hand,
yeah,
your
he's right back there.
DeLorean.
The camera will focus, but
Yeah.
the DeLorean, I love it. And to really do it, sorry, my voice is terrible, but to do it properly, you have to have all three, versions, because the Lego set actually can make the DeLorean as it's in each three movies, but you have to choose when you build it, kind of which one you're building. Coincidentally, I actually have the Back to the Future 2 version is the one that I built. So I just need to buy two more of them and then I can complete them. But,
Or you just switch out the tires.
well, there's more to it that you switch out, like the reactor that's on the top. That's one of the ones you switch out, including the ability for the wheels to fold. It's actually quite unique. Lego did an incredible job with that, with the DeLorean. So
Nice. We got Rolando Flores stopping in. Thanks for hopping in. Just kind of kicking things off. So how's the new mic sounding, Tyler? I'm trying to. Am I too loud?
no, it sounds good. I mean, if anything, you might come up, but I don't know what my mic sounds like. I selected in the settings to have it auto adjust my mic volume. So if I can't hear me, let me know, and I'll try to monkey with it. But
sound good to me. Nathan said,
and excuse me because I'm coming off of a cold, and actually it's the first time I think I've ever actually lost my voice outside of maybe like yelling too loud at a game or something. But so yeah, I like I told you earlier, I feel like Barry White going through puberty right now. But
Gotcha. Well, you're making it. The only time I lost my voice is when I was working at a call center and I was taking 100 calls a day. So I didn't get to work those few days. So. All right. Nathan said, I have to send you a pic of a small hoverboard I made. It levitates. Ooh, fun. All right. So I did not plan this properly, as I never do, but let's hop into it. Tyler, first thoughts of when you think back, I know we should have probably rewatched the movie before we came on here, but neither of us have really the time. What do you recall when you think back? What's your favorite parts?
So I was actually just kind of going through this conversation with my wife, and right out of the gate, and I think this is probably the obvious one, and it's not really the hoverboard, as it is the jacket with the sleeve auto adjust. I mean, I can still pretty much remember the whole scene when they actually arrive into the future, and Doc pulls the skin off his face, and She's passed out, and they leave her basically in the trash can, and then you kind of get this first glimpse of what everything looked like, or what their vision was, and actually some things that they nailed. You had Jaws 3D, and there were, I can't remember right offhand all the specific little places, but I do remember the 3D Jaws. So I mean, that particular scene was always one of the ones that stuck out. And one of the first things I think of when I think of the second movie, for sure. And then there's obviously the iconic hoverboard in that scene. So
Shark still looks fake.
3D movies kind of fell off the map. There were a lot of 3D movies actually around 2015, right? Like 2010, 2000, coming out of the late 2000s into the, there were a lot of 3D movies. I remember going to the theaters to see a lot of them. But I don't know, was Jaws ever adapted into a 3D movie? Just out of curiosity.
I don't know. I've never really watched the Jaws movies. I couldn't watch 3D movies. I tried watching one, and it hurt my head and my eyes, and I was like, no more. I know they still offer them in some theaters, but I can't do it. And let's see, we got the Real Life Perspective Show asking, what's your favorite Back to the Future movie lines? Oh, there's too many. Too many for me.
Well, I mean, there's the iconic one, where we're going, we don't need roads. I mean, that's always.
You got to the roads.
Yeah, I need the cool glasses. Those are great. It's funny. I haven't. I'm surprised we don't see more of that. But like Sean probably has some glasses like that. I would expect him to, for sure. So
I'm sure he does.
The Real Life has some good glasses. So
yeah, I don't think I've ever seen his eyes. Speaking of
so that was a big one from the second movie. I mean, I say that line all the time. It's like I think every person uses that line to justify their destruction and crazy ideas. So
right. Yeah, I'm trying to learn this program. I figured I could go to YouTube. Let me try it here.
The Cubs winning the World Series.
Yeah. Having some learning growing pains here, guys. So if you want to join us on camera, there is the link right there. I'm not sure if it'll let me.
I know one of the things I was thinking about too, and I don't know or remember as much about the whole Crispin Glover controversy with the whole thing going into the second film, but I always think it's interesting during certain scenes where they would have used him either bringing in someone to play a lookalike or it's just something that always, like, when I think of the second movie, I can't help but to think of the whole drama that kind of went on with him, which I liked him. I liked his character. I think he was perfect for Marty's dad, and to kind of I understand he was probably a pain in the tail. That's what a lot of the stories say, but it was iconic George McFly. And he will forever and always will be George McFly, so.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And of course, this movie came out in November 22nd, 1989. So I was 3. So those little things don't matter when you're 3 watching a movie. But no, yeah, I just had recently learned about the Crispin Glover, controversy. Probably a couple years ago.
So I always got really interested into like the making of the films, and like how they pulled off a lot of the effects. And the third movie was the one that I probably remember the most because it came out when I was a little bit older. I don't. It was like early 90s maybe when that one came out, 91, 92. I remember a lot of the promotions and things like either Burger King or Happy, or one of them did like little toys and stuff. If I remember, that went along with it. But I was always like fascinated with how they ran the train off of the off of the bridge, and you just don't see movies that use a lot of. I mean, you do see some movies now that are kind of getting back to doing a lot of practical effects, but that always was great and so tense, like when the train's coming in to blow everything up. I like all three of them, so it's like I'm not a fan
Same.
that's like partial to any one particular of the films. I always wanted Doc Brown's model of the city, or to make
Which one?
Exactly.
He had one in every movie.
I always loved that. I thought that was.
And they always apologize that wasn't to scale.
Yeah, but it was always super cool. Well, those are some of the things that stick out to me.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's hard for me to pick one because I'm such a fan of all three of the series. Of course, there's always a line from each one that you try to pick out, and I always think of opening sequence with Biff going, "What the hell is going on around here?"
I always love it when they crash and all the manure falls into the car.
Oh yeah, manure. I hate manure.
That was always a great scene. Some of the scenes that I remember. I'm not going to say that they were like scary scenes, but it's like I remember like when they would kind of feature Biff when he was all rich and like his tower that he had, the casino, maybe it may have been a casino. I'm trying to think back to it specifically, but for some reason,
yeah, that's part
that whole like look, and every time that kind of came up, I always just remembered like being really tense and semi afraid, as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Biff was unpredictable in some senses, which I mean he is, and his name's Tom. I'm trying to think of his last name. He was at a
right here.
to,
Thomas F. Wilson.
Yeah, thank you. Tom Wilson. He was at a con. I didn't get to meet him, but I mean, everybody was just was raving about the guy. And he, from what I understand, he's a good person. And for the most part, most of the, the cast, I think, really embrace the trilogy. You see a lot of them coming back and doing things to represent it, which is, with the exception maybe of, Crispin Glover, but
they've been doing a couple cons this year, like the main 4 or 5 have. It's like I wish they would come closer to me.
It'd be cool to meet Michael J. Fox.
I
don't know how much. Yeah, I mean, obviously meeting Christopher Lloyd would be, incredible. Not just from the Back to the Future films, but from several different films that he's starred in, and really the same, I guess, for several of those guys. But the mall, recently I saw a thing where they're going to be tearing down the mall that they
really
in the Twin Pine Mall. I think that's what it's called, if I remember, in the movie.
At the beginning, and then they knock over the second one, and then comes Lone Pine Mall.
And so the building, I believe, is something I read recently where the building's going to get destroyed. And it's like, that's such an iconic part of it as well. But
yeah, that's the bad part about things. They get just time lets it get away. Now, is there anybody in the chat that hasn't seen any of the movies or part 2 specifically? Because if you haven't, you should be ashamed of yourself. All right, but just to give me something to talk about here, just to read kind of a brief synopsis of the movie, pulling this from Google, which is the greatest thing ever. In this zany sequel, time-traveling duo Marty McFly and Dr. Emmett Brown return from saving Marty's future son from disaster, only to discover their own timeline transformed in this nightmarish version of Hill Valley. Marty's father has been murdered, and Bill Tannen, Marty's nemesis, has profited. After uncovering the secret to Biff's success, a sports almanac from the future, Marty and Doc embark on a quest to repair the space-time continuum. So yeah, that's pretty much the synopsis of it. But I think the flying part was the most greatest thing about the whole movie.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
he talks about
they set it up so good at the end of the first one, kind of alluding to what was going to happen. And the second one just hit every note that they set up, especially with the flying DeLorean, man. Like, you couldn't use a better car either. A DeLorean.
now. And did you hear? I'm sure you've heard this through the years, where they initially started out was going to use a refrigerator as the time machine.
I do remember that. That would have been a little Doctor Who-y. I mean, although it's a phone booth, but or Bill and Ted too, right? So
excellent.
Another great movie of the time. But I remember the one of the things with the second one, and I believe this is in the second one, you may have to correct me, but one of my favorite scenes that they did is when Marty was a parent and he had kids, and they kind of get that future glimpse of him. How
the daughter looks like him.
Yeah, exactly. Matter of fact, that's exactly where I was going to go with that is the whole vision of having this whole family dynamic and being able to see some of the effects and impacts on what kind of traveling through time did. I think the storytelling was well woven into the three movies. I mean, it's very rare that you get, in my opinion, that you get a trilogy. You think Lord of the Rings or some of the other like big trilogies that were kind of purpose written into these three films. And I when I watch the first one, I have to watch the second one, and when it ends, I have to watch the third one. It's just like
right. Especially if it's on TV and it's playing back to back.
Yeah, I would have had it on in the TV back here, but I kind of changed the angle a little bit so you wouldn't see it anyway. But I was like, I'm going to have to just turn it on and watch it.
Oh, yeah, it's great movies. And one thing part 2 did is kind of like The Simpsons does, is they predicted a lot of things that actually did happen. And let me see if I can share the screen here. I actually found it on a website, Movie Web. They kind of already did all the work for me, so we'll just pull that up real quick here. Again, bear with me, guys. This is a new setup, so it's a little different than what we're used to, but we're getting there. Let's see screen. There we go. You guys should be able to see that now. Let me actually do this. Whoop. No. Okay, it's not doing that. Oh, there we go. No wonder. There we go. Yeah, see, the other one would automatically do it. This one actually had to add it to the stream, so it was a little different. I had to get used to it. So. All right, but if we go down here with Back to the Future, didn't accurately predict the World Series. Where to go? Let's see. There was okay. Anything you never knew about Back to the Future Part 2? To be continued. It was quite well known that Back to the Future Part 2 and Back to the Future Part 3 was shot back-to-back in what was a stunning movie made for a major movie studio. But while we think of the film as the trilogy now, a second Back to the Future wasn't always a given. From 1985 to 1955 back again, Back to the Future works fantastically as a standalone story. Agreed. Sending Marty back to the present even better than he left it. Sure, there's that little fun little cliffhanger, but director-creator Robert is it Zemeckis, how you say it?
Zemeckis, something like that. Yeah. Zemeckis. Yeah.
And co-writer producer Bob Gale have had this last scene was something they just put in for fun. See, I didn't know that until I read this other day. This was never, the first one was never planned for a second one. They just kind of put
that's why I was saying they set it up perfect, right? Like you could have had,
accidentally.
I mean, it. How could you not want to see a flying DeLorean?
It's just any question here. I don't know if you've seen it. Asking for using your DSLR, using your new camera.
Yeah, this is the new camera. Yeah, the Sony A7 IV.
Yeah,
I've got hooked up here and a couple of lights and stuff around.
Yeah, it looks super good.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah,
And if you
I'm
guys haven't watched
enjoying
his
it.
last video, his unboxing video, definitely check it out. You can see definitely a lot of his skills as a editor and cameraman that
Trying
far
to figure
surpasses
this
me.
thing out. Yeah, it's the first big boy camera that I've personally owned. I've operated a lot of cameras and stuff in the past, doing video work, but it's been since college, and obviously things have changed quite a bit, and I enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. I do media for our high school band. My son's in the band, and I was a band kid, tuba player all the way through college, and so yeah, I was like, hey, I'm gonna go shoot and do stuff for the band, and so it's been nice to have an excuse, like a really good excuse to say, hey, I need a better camera. Now it's just the addiction of wanting to buy, gear for the camera. So I'm
Hmm.
like learning all these accessories, and I'm like, oh, I've got to balance my toy collecting life now with wanting to buy new camera gear. It's gonna both are fun and awesome, I guess, right? So it's like, but one of them, that's why I try to even put the two worlds together. Um, but thanks, man. Yeah, I'm really enjoying getting to learn it and learn photography. I think it's just it's kind of relaxing. There's something tranquil to it, especially if you're like doing nature stuff. So, but yeah, dude.
Yeah, one of these days I'm gonna talk him to become my full-time editor. He doesn't know it yet.
I enjoy that process as well. I got a lot to learn.
I hate that
You,
process. I
YouTube
hate
is,
it.
dude, I get lost in it, man. I get lost. Like editing a video, I could just sit and just literally just for hours and hours and hours and just kind of get lost because there is this part of enjoying it, but there's also this part of like you can't wait to see, oh yeah, I want to, when you get this together and then you get this next kind of sequence together and then you're like, I can't wait now to see. Dude, I can't tell you how many times you like go back to the start and like you may have only added another 30 seconds to the video, but you still go all the way back to the start and like watch it again. You add another 30 seconds, you watch the whole thing
Mhm.
again. And it's always been a fun process, but yeah, man, I'll do it anytime for you. So
I know you well. I was just aggravating. It's just there's so many options out there. It's like you just sometimes it could become a major time suck because you don't know how to go with it, or you see one way you can go with it, and you see something else you can go with it, and it just becomes a major time suck.
well, that was always, like with kind of like talking about Back to the Future stuff and just kind of movies in general. That's one of the things that always, I mean, since I guess middle school, we had TV production. Like we had a TV, like little school TV station that we did, and we had to edit physical tapes. So you had these machines and stuff that you had to go through to edit these tapes. And I mean, again, I was only like sixth, seventh grade, and that's the understanding I had of a lot of this, um, stuff here. See you, Sean.
Was
Have a
he
good night,
leaving us?
buddy. Get those kiddos to bed.
Oh yeah,
But
mine's already laid down.
but anyway,
Thanks for
so
stopping in, buddy.
yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Um, but yeah, we did some kind of like short film stuff in high school. I had a couple of buddies of mine that really got into it, and he turned out to be like he did it like for a living. I mean, guy freelanced his whole life, and he learned the editing side of it. And we met a couple of guys in college. That one guy that did audio, so he handled stuff like Foley work. Oh, hey, yeah, Friday night at 8 o'clock. I'll be at a high school football game, unfortunately. Fortunately, but unfortunately. But Matt, there you go, man.
I don't know. I gotta get up early. I'm actually going to Chattanooga for Chattanooga Con.
Oh
Comic
yeah, we got
Con.
last con this weekend.
Yeah,
Um,
that's probably gonna be
Sean,
the
have a
last one
good
for the
luck with the
year.
stream though. Have a good time. I'll try to
Oh yeah,
log in for a minute if I can, just to say hi.
same.
Um, but yeah, we did a couple of short films in college, and fell out of it after that. You have a kid, and they take all your money, and
Jerks.
yeah, I know. And then, but movies always inspired me. Like I always had dreams of going to Full Sail and learning how to like legitimately make movies. And it's just I don't know. It was the creative process was a lot of fun, and but yeah, what are we opening?
Shut your mouth, cat. Don't come in here starting trouble. I feel attacked. I feel attacked now. I'm at the banner. I'm just kidding. I wouldn't ban her, maybe. But thanks for jumping in, Kat. Do you want to come on and talk? Have you watched Back to the Future? I doubt you have because you're a young one. But even Lady Cat opening tonight. That's your job to open stuff. But yeah, we're just kind of going through some of the facts here of Back to the Future 2, which, as we were talking, the words "to be continued" weren't in the theatrical version, which I didn't know that. I didn't watch it in theaters. Yeah, even though if you know somebody says it's opening too, just like the folks who swear they saw Sinbad. Oh, there we go. Now we can see it here. The first film was successful. The studio planned to move forward with or without the original team. Thankfully, Zemeckis and Gale agreed to return to not make one but two Back to the Future sequels. Oh, sorry, had somebody mention me. Why is he not watching the stream? Right, and what we got here? Marty was nearly a draft dodger. What? Okay, I missed this one. In the early drafts, Back to the Future 2, Marty travels back to 1967 as the Vietnam War divides the country. Marty's arrested because he doesn't have a draft card. He could have joined the Navy or the Coast Guard. We know he had the jacket for it. Fair point. We still got Nathan saying hi to Emily. I have not. I am wrestling a unicorn. I told you she didn't watch it.
Wow, rhinestoning a unicorn. Oh, I saw that last night. That was cool. Yeah. I don't know. I can't remember how many, but it was like a lot of rhinestones on there. She said the number, but I don't remember. Oh, here. I actually didn't read all. This is something different than what I thought I picked up earlier. But you were talking earlier about the Crispin Glover. Yeah.
It says Crispin Glover made peace with Robert Zemeckis.
That's the only time you see him, and it's not actually him. It's
it's somebody in like a rubber mask or something. Yeah, if I recall.
And
6,000.
I like
Crispin Glover. That's a lot of rhinestones. What other than the Charlie Angels movie that with Cameron Diaz and all them? I don't know what else he's been in.
He's been in a few random things. There's one movie in particular that I know you'll. I was pulling this IMDb back up because I was looking at this specifically about a different movie the other day. It's in a movie called Freaky Deaky. Okay, it's interesting.
It was like a sex tape.
He was in Hot Tub Time Machine. That's what I'm thinking of.
Oh, okay. I've only watched it once. I can't remember how.
Oh man, that's a classic one. Yeah, Hot Tub Time Machine.
Let's see.
But one scene I remember as well, I believe this is in the second one, is the Johnny Be Good scene.
Which one?
Like where Marty's playing, like that
was in the first one, but then they revisit in the second one.
That's the one, and he's watching himself, right? Like
yeah.
And sees himself, but like that whole scene. I guess there was, and I don't know if others are more educated on the topic, but like with him actually playing or not playing the guitar, I think there was a lot of controversy of was Michael J. Fox actually playing the song or not playing the song. And you know how the internet is, they pick out the craziest things to go out and worry about. But what do you think? Do you think, I don't know much about Michael J. Fox and his guitar skills. Was he playing, not playing?
That I really never looked into, but as far as I know, he can play, or he could play, so I wouldn't imagine that he probably did do that.
I always thought it was the cool scene, man. I was like, I wish I could shred like that.
Oh, for sure. I wonder if we can look it up real quick.
Cat says 6,000.
Yeah, rhinestones.
That's wild. And like, do you have to glue each one of them on? Like one by one? I'm curious now. I'll have to go back and watch last night. I know she talked about it for a minute, but I couldn't stay very long.
Right. According to Screen Rant, Fox learned to play the guitar for the scene and was taught by Paul Hansen, but the music heard in the film was played by musician Tim May.
Okay.
The John Good scene was filmed using movie magic with Fox playing the guitar and mouthing the song while Mays recorded guitar singing. So he can, but apparently, according to Screen Rant, he didn't for the movie.
Interesting. Okay.
But I think, who knows, he probably learned to do it later on if he was just learning how to play at that time.
I mean, that would be a good way to get your career started, playing a guitar. That's for sure.
Yeah.
One of the other things I was thinking of too, and I need to find a picture of, like, a better picture of the DeLorean, especially from the end of the first movie, where they, like, I don't know if you ever paid attention to all the stuff that's actually like on the back of the car.
Oh, it's insane. I've seen a special about it some time ago. Let me see.
Trying to see if I can find.
Let's see. I think I got one here.
It's like the nuclear reactor thing.
I don't think I may have one here. Let me show it. Let's see. Let's hide this one.
Yeah, I'm looking to see
a picture. Yeah, I'll find a better picture.
Obviously, you have the flux capacitor, but
that's the best I can do here.
Yeah, there's some good pictures of it, and there's a lot of really funny things that they used to actually like make the prop version of the car, the screen version of the car. And if you get close up to it, it's like a juicer. Literally, it was like a juicer, like a, a fruit juicer. There were several other little like kitchen appliances and stuff that were used on the back of it.
Yeah, and they use like empty big bullet shells or something. There was specific stuff they used because I was trying to think of the special I watched. I can't remember if it's on Netflix or not, or maybe it's on History Channel. But they basically went in and found the original guys that built the thing, and they built an exact replica of the original. So, I mean, they had to go to like an old junkyard where they found the stuff originally, trying to hopefully find it. It was very interesting of all the little nuances they had to find specifically to accurately replicate.
So, have you been to Universal Studios in Florida?
I have not.
Okay. So, there once was a ride, Back to the Future ride. I never got to ride the Back to the Future ride. So if anybody here rode that or remembers that ride in Florida, put it in the chat there. But when they got rid of the ride, they kept the DeLorean that they had there, like the show accurate DeLorean, and the train, so you can actually like walk around them, check them all out. It's awesome it's just surreal. I mean, you've seen, like people kind of make copycats of the DeLoreans, but like to be right next to the train and to be right next to the, show, probably as close to a show accurate car as possible. It's pretty wild. It's cool. It's like, it makes you feel like all you got to do is like, you're planning out in your head. It's like, jump start it, get to 88, and I'm out of here.
Right. Yeah, and I think that special I was telling you about, they talked about how that one had sat there on Universal parking lot and just basically got ruined, where it just sat there.
I should have grabbed my out of time license plate and set it over here.
Yeah, no, I wish I had a T-shirt. I love Back to the Future, but I don't have a Back to the Future shirt. It's crazy. I need to get me one.
I just got little Doc and Marty. Just little Doc and Marty. Wish I had a better spot that I could set them. That we just so like they would like hang out on the camera, just be like, "Hey, Doc and Marty," put them on my shoulder.
Right. Yeah, it works. At least you have something. I have nothing.
So yeah, there was a ride. I wish that I could have rode the ride at Universal, but I'm a big theme park junkie. I like the theme park stuff, so that's one ride that I really wish I could have gotten in.
Right. And we got Wanda joining us. Thanks for hopping in.
Hello, Wanda. Sorry for my crazy bad voice. I smoked 8 packs of Marlboro Lights this morning.
I told you to go full flavor, but no.
Just kidding. No, I was always a menthol guy, way back in my college days. So, but
That's right. You actually did smoke, didn't you?
Yeah, in my younger years for sure. And my son was, I don't know, 3, 4, or something like that whenever I quit. So
that's good. It's good that you quit.
Oh, I'm very happy that I quit. I'll have a cigar every once in a while, but I don't inhale the cigars.
Lady Cat's asking what we think of the stream last night. You asking me or him?
I rewatched it today. Well, maybe both of us.
I mean, I was on mod duty heavy, and we'll just kind of leave it at that because I don't want to bring negativeness to our stream here with the.
I mean, I'll say to jump. Oh, go ahead.
Well, sorry, I just had the afterthought of, but Legacy and Lady, you guys did very well just talking and keeping the point matter going and whatnot. And
that's literally what I was going to say. I went back and watched through it today, and like with the chat and everything, because I always like to see chat interaction. But I thought the topic it's interesting because that topic is so divisive in the community. It's I don't know. It's just interesting to see like everybody's opinions on it. I think everybody made really good points. Especially with the whole, the should the actors have them or have at least some access to them. I mean, give them maybe a 25% off coupon card. I don't know. It's like I don't know what the answer is, but it's a big conversation. I mean, I think everybody in that genre has somewhat of an emotional attachment to that franchise. And it feels like it's just kind of feels like it's being tossed out, just them to sell off everything makes it seem more official that like, oh, we're done, we're done with this. And, the best thing I think you can hope for is that people will get them and archive them. At worst, right? So
yeah, my opinion kind of changed somewhat as I listened to Legacy or Daniel, however you want to call him here, his perspective on it. Of
the laptop analogy was perfect.
I mean, it was exactly the way it needed to be said.
Yeah.
I think the shock factor is it's so much that it's almost like they've cleaned the total house. And, Lady Cat made good points of, this stuff is just sitting in the warehouse ruining. They're not using it. They're trying to liquidate assets. It is a business. I mean,
they also have a lot of duplicates of things, you got to think, I mean, they made like 5 to 7 and, if not more of each costume. So you got to think, I mean, they probably have like 10 of those things for some of the newer seasons, I mean, they can't keep all of them. And I imagine there's also probably some sort of a, need to recoup. I don't know if they broke even on Power Rangers. Did they or did they not? How much did they pay for them? How much were they, did they invest in them? How much did they, were they making kind of annually on the brand? I mean, all that information and data is out there to look at, but I don't know if this is sort of a way of liquidizing things and trying to, maybe make up for lost projections that they had with the brand. Maybe it's necessary to do this to properly reset the brand. I think there's a lot of valid theories or ideas that are out there as to why. I mean, obviously only Hasbro and that team will really know and understand. It would be great to have a little more transparency, about things. Just, I mean, it's not that they have to be transparent, but I just think the Power Ranger community as a whole has just sort of been given the cold shoulder for a little bit. I mean, nothing at Hasbro Con. I mean, not even. I mean, very little. I mean, 3-0 and some of these, more the comic books and some of these are the only things really keeping it alive. So, anyway, I could go on and on about that topic.
I was about to say, Lady Cat, I put the link in the chat there. Click it. I mean, if any of you guys want to click it and join us on camera, don't be scared. We're all friends here.
It's not that I'm like even upset or anything about. I'm not mad about it. It's like I think how Legacy thinks. It's just I think just like him, they were tools of the jobs. If they really wanted them, they should either
give stole my Jason David Frank.
I was going to say give it the JDF treatment, or maybe have had some sort of something in their contract or clause. I did find out the suits that they were wearing at Ranger Stop, like those were the suits that they were given, like that. Those were the screen accurate suits. Because I remember Russell talking about it specifically, because I don't think he had his suit with him, which is why he wasn't in.
Was he given his? I never did know if he actually was given.
I think all of them got theirs, but he didn't have a helmet. I could be wrong on that, but I'm
because they were talking last night that like nobody got their helmets, but they all got the suits.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure all the suits they were in were the actual suits.
Well, I mean, they all fit them perfectly. I mean, it was made for them.
They perfectly. And to be honest with you, dude, seeing those suits in person, like they were gorgeous. I thought they were fantastic.
Yeah, Russell's not getting recording Lacey. Yeah, I'm asking the guy that actually stood next to Russell.
He was not
for 3 days.
Yeah, okay, then that's right, because he was the only one there that didn't have one. Everybody else, because I was wondering why he didn't have a suit. So I know he didn't have a suit there when we were in Atlanta. So yeah, gotcha. Thanks for confirming on that, Cat. Thanks. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I'll mute myself next time.
There's only a few of us here. We're all friends. So I know we kind of talked about Back to the Future, but I was trying to pull up some random facts, and I didn't realize this, but it was Elijah Wood's first film. Remember part 2? He was one of the little kids at the video game. He goes, "You got to use your hands. Yeah. That's like a baby's toy."
That was Elijah Wood. How did I know?
That Elijah Wood was one of those two boys.
A couple of other things just to think about with Back to the Future. Where I want a Pepsi free. Internet Pepsi free, isn't that what it is? The drink and it like shoots up out of the counter. It's
yeah.
Why don't we have that yet?
I mean, we could. I mean, we got robots bringing the food to the tables now. I mean, apparently they're having that in China.
I mean, I'm down with it. Let's bring some of it on.
See,
the new DeLorean is quite nice as well. They were trying to remake the DeLorean, and make like a new version of it. And that's
Mr. Fusion.
That reminds me of something else. What are your thoughts? And I'll ask everybody this too. It's like, what are your thoughts on any kind of additional like future projects around Back to the Future? Can they redo this? And how they've done a lot of series in the past to make a new version, or somehow continue the story or tell a different story, or what are your thoughts on there being more Back to the Future or future Back to the Future stories?
There's been teases of it for years. There's been like a fan made, good looking trailer made that's been out there that's been thought to be, a Back to the Future 4. Anything's possible, and I'm such a fan of the franchise. I would watch it. The story part, that's where it's going to get tricky. Well, I mean, one thing, Michael J. Fox, he's not capable. He's just not. And that's going to be your big thing right there of, is it going to be maybe his kid or Doc Brown, or there's some kind of, I'm trying to recall the trailer I've seen was kind of some kind of like astral phenom effect going on, quantum effect that's happening, that Doc Brown's evolved and maybe have to get his kid. And the thing I saw, now I'm thinking about it, it would fit perfectly with Tom Holland was going to be like the Marty McFly of it. Can it be done? Yes. It'd be tricky. Should it be done? Probably not. And I'm one that if you put one out, I want to watch it. But we're jeopardizing hurting the original franchise.
Yeah. And well, you could talk Ghostbusters there for a second, right? I mean, the first Ghostbusters sort of redo, I know, with the Girl Squad. I don't think that one did the best. I mean, I liked Ghostbusters, so I mean, I like anything the franchise produces. Was it my favorite one? No. I mean, I wanted to know or to see the story, the original story, kind of continue. And that's what we got when kind of the last iterations of it, Afterlife, and then the one, like, whatever that was before it. I feel like they did pretty good with that franchise and bringing it back and, modernizing a bit of the franchise as well for a new sort of generation. I think they could do it with Back to the Future, but I think the story, like, it would have to be a really good story. And I do think you could do it with the kids as well, or do a story, but with Christopher Lloyd still being alive and everybody else being alive. I mean, you could always, I don't know exactly what you do with Marty McFly's character. I mean, you wouldn't necessarily, I think it would be bad for him to kill him off, like that'd be terrible for him. I mean, you may have to do it for the story, but I just think given Michael J. Fox, and I'd hate to write his character as being dead. Maybe he's stuck in the future or the past or something, and he's, even
a mentorship where maybe he ended up getting into another car wreck later on that was caused by the fluctuations with their involvement with past, present, and just kind of housebound or chairbound, however you want to put it, because he can hold himself still long enough to do something.
Yeah. Well, and he could speak some. I mean, they do have, I'm sure, even like some past audio and stuff with Michael J. Fox. I mean, there's a lot of technology, and I think that they could do with his dialogue. He wouldn't have to have a lot of dialogue necessarily. I mean, you could have the whole movie sort of conclude around the fact that, he has to get Doc Brown's help to find his dad, right? And his dad is lost somewhere in time, and Doc has to help. Man, we're writing the movie right now. I mean, let's just go ahead and just, but I would go. I would love that. Yeah, I would love that story.
I'd watch it. Like I said, I'm a fan of the series. I'll watch it regardless if it's
everybody comes into play, like, as characters. Like Marty's son crosses time paths and interacts with all of the old characters, through all these time jumps and iterations. The movie's really more just about Doc Brown and Marty or Marty Jr., and trying to find himself. He's got to be in that like young age so that he's not, really sure of himself or certain of himself. So you can kind of watch, him blossom into, a young man type thing and being courageous. And, I think it would be a killer story. But I do think it all matters on the writing.
Mm-hmm. And his sons, Jules and Vern, they'd be grown adults at this point. So
yeah, it'd be pretty cool. So,
or even crazier thought, Doc Brown prequel.
Yeah, I mean, he did wear a mask once before. We could always just de-age him a little bit.
I mean, they did it in Tron with what's his name several years ago. I mean,
Jeff Daniels.
No, the other one.
Jeff Bridges.
One of the Bridges. Yeah, Jeff Bridges. Yeah.
One of the Bridges.
Yeah, it's not Bo. It has to be Jeff. So, I mean, they did that with Tron where they made a a younger version of him.
Did I say Jeff Daniels? Oh my gosh. Come on, Tyler.
Dumb and Dumber. What?
It's sick brain, bro. Like it's clicking, but it's not all the way there. So
it happens. Plus, it's getting late. So, Emily Cat, you have not seen any of the Back to the Future movies? You've got me curious now because they're great.
That's going to be your homework, Cat, is to catch up on the first one. Start there. Start with baby steps, and or you just plan time just to binge watch them. Just
they're all on YouTube.
Oh yeah, you can probably find those pretty easily. You'll be in love with the music, the characters. I mean, everything about it was amazing. I think it inspired every young man to get a pair of purple Calvin Klein underwear at some point, or at least aspire to. That still was always the weirdest scene. Like his mom hitting on him, and just the dynamic with with kind of writing. The story between him and his mom. That was always funny.
Yeah, it always played out in each movie.
Yeah.
Like they always had that same scene. Mom, is that you? And I was like, you were 16 years old, boy. Why are you calling for your mommy?
Yeah, for sure.
But again, it was just kind of how they tied them all in, interlined of, past, present, future, still connecting. So, and you mentioned the music. Something you're thinking about it. The music was more prominent in the first one than it was in the other two.
Yeah, I can remember more about the first one, music-wise, than the other ones. I'm trying to think of any particular moments that stand out in the second or third one. It was kind of like watching through them on fast, in my head. Any scenes that show up.
But
I mean, with
I can't think of any in the same one they used in the first ones.
Yeah, the second movie for sure. And then a lot of the third one was spent in the Western time. And so I don't remember there being so much music or anything like that to it. But Biff's granddad, he was a pretty hardcore fella. So
Mad Dog Tammy.
Yeah, Mad Dog Tammy. You didn't need music when you had Mad Dog. So
no.
Music was scared of Mad Dog. So
yeah, and how they replicate that scene from that Clint Eastwood movie with the metal iron on it he's wearing when he's.
Well, I'd like to visit that set one day. I think some of it has gotten. I think they still have the setup out in California. It's not set up, of course, the same way, but they've shot a lot of movies and TV shows and stuff on that particular backlot. And I remember maybe seeing something here recently where they had redone the City Hall building or the courthouse. Yeah. Where they in real life had redone the courthouse, but so some things don't look the exact same, but you can take a tour, I think, still of a lot of those backlots where a lot of it was shot, and the house and all that is out there in California as well. I would just love to go do a movie, go see movie sets and locations, and Back to the Future would actually definitely be one.
Where, do you know California they filmed that?
Pardon me?
Do you know where in California they filmed?
The house, the McFly house is. I felt like it was Glendale or something like that.
That's what they call it. I don't know if that's actually the name of it. Glendale. This is where we're going to live. This is where we're going to live. Something.
Yeah, the house is. So Universal City is where the set is at. The McFly house is in Arleta, California, or Arleta, AR. Looks like it's just north of downtown LA. So just outside of Glendale in Burbank area. So
I know we're kind of streaming off to part 3, but
it's
it
all
makes me
still,
wonder about the
yeah.
bridge scene. Like, was that just on a non-used bridge anymore? Did they build a dummy set for the bridge
On which
part
one? Oh, on the
on the
bridge
railroad
for
track?
the railroad track.
Makes me
There
curious about
was
that.
there was a thing written actually about that as well, and how they and where they did that at, because a lot of it's done with the model, and there were shots of it, of course, where they actually, like, what I remember, like, actually drove a train off the side of the thing. I'm sure it was all done somewhere out in around the LA area. Um, most of the sites are in, like, there's Lorraine's house, that and that whole street that was in Pasadena, California, and the ranch that like the Twin Pines Ranch, basically, like when he
Mhm.
goes back and he's the um, oh gosh, yeah, I forgot that scene, like where he's in the nuclear outfit and he's in the DeLorean and he ends up in the barn and all that jazz. Um, that was the same filming location that they shot the Waltons and the Parrot Trap at. Interesting little fact there, but
What was the Haley Mills Parent Trap?
I believe so. The original one.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, the old one. Yeah, it's not that one.
Haley Mills. Yeah,
But they were great films. They made a video game as well that was really awesome. I don't know if you ever knew that and this was like a more, like, maybe like 2013, 14,
yeah, I
15.
did. It was like a choose base.
Yeah, yeah, kind
Yeah,
of like
yeah,
a
yeah.
choose your own adventure type game, like RPG style,
Telltale series made it, I think.
something like that. I think it's kind of one of the more indie companies that made it.
Mhm.
It was a great game. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I thoroughly enjoyed it.
because there was a Batman one that came out a few years ago, and I got it. It was by the same company, same concept. It was a
Yes.
choose which way type deal and hit the puzzles just right. It was good. And I actually did finally find the other webpage I was looking for, which talks about the 11 things Back to the Future 2 got right about 2015. I don't know if you'll find this interesting or not, but I thought it was kind of.
Tell me a couple of things they got right.
Let's see. Let me pop it up here. It's loading from the stream. Let's drop down here. Whoa. Dot Brown smartwatch from Rain Forecast and Modern Wearable Tech. We have smartwatches.
That's a good call. Great call.
Yeah, I'm not gonna read in all this other
I
stuff.
don't think I ever remembered him doing it, but yeah, he like told us it's going to stop raining in 3, 2.
Wait 5 more seconds.
Yeah.
And then video calling and social media in Back to the Future 2. Nailed it. I mean, we have that now. I mean, we're doing it now.
Yeah, we are doing it right now.
Let's see. Predicted digital currency.
Oh,
I didn't think about that until I read this. I was like, yeah, that is
money.
true.
Yeah.
Predicted rising of contactless payments and digital currency. So after everybody has to donate money to save the iconic towers, the future is watch with so. Looks very similar to modern tablet, so you could move money electronically with his payment card on the tablet. So, and thumbprint, but I mean it's pretty similar to what we got now. Digital currency and money transference.
It's like people, like just basically having the little, handheld payment machines now. You see that a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially the tap the cards now.
Yep.
And let's see, 1980s nostalgia, Back to the Future, from Jaws 19 Collectibles Craze. So yeah, nostalgia's that's what we're all about,
Yeah. Well, I'll look around.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have the room, but let's see, non-military drones in Back to the Future 2. So yeah, I mean, we have drones for non-military use. So they're used for light shows now, which is
the VR
neat.
headset. I forgot about that scene.
Yeah, I did too. Is like the VR headset.
The scene actually, and I doubt it's intentional considering that this is a Universal property, but the great carousel of progress at Disney World, which was Really like one of the first attractions made by Walt Disney, and it was entered in like the World Fair in like the 50s, and now it sits at the Magic Kingdom at Disney World. Anyway, there's a scene that on that almost looks just like that scene, and I always wondered if that was done on purpose. It's where they're in the kitchen, the kids got the VR headset on, and it was very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. And let's see what else we got here. Back to the Future predicted too many screens. Predicting the multi-screen experience. Yeah, we do have picture-in-picture, and you can have as many screens added. The self-lacing shoes, I still wish they actually made those.
They did make those. Yeah.
It was cool. Like they had some kind of sensor in the back of the heel that once you hit it,
dude, they were crazy expensive. I forget what they're called, but they're obviously Nikes. But
yeah,
like
it was to raise money for his foundation.
Yeah,
according to this thing. So.
But with the jacket that also like had the extending like self-fitting arms, I remember it also had a drying function.
Yeah,
if you
jacket.
remember.
No.
Yeah.
And person I was ever trained Back to the Future 2. Yeah. So anyway, I kind of found that all interesting and how much
there's a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of cool stuff with this movie.
Yeah. And I didn't want to get into reading the whole script or whatever, but I just kind of wanted to talk about it. I wanted to actually do this last year and just never got around to it because
it was good to spend our day in the future about the past together, for sure, with everybody out there. So,
for sure. Well, Tyler, I know your voice is probably trying to give out here. I don't want to keep you too long. Anybody else got anything else to add? No, we don't have to talk about Back to the Future. I know, Kat, if you're
I don't know if Kat's still around. She, we want to talk. Can talk Rangers.
Yeah, I'm going to talk Rangers. I mean, look at all this. This is part of what I got.
Yeah,
Tyler opened something. Now, he is more liable to open something than I am.
Oh man, I'm always torn, like, because I want to open stuff up, but because I'd like to display it, but in my mind it's always like, okay, well, at some point I am gonna probably want to sell, a lot of things or get rid of stuff, and it's like I'd rather resell it at the maximum value so that I could pass that down. And that value down, to my kid, and if he wants to keep them or have them, they're all in box. He can do with them what he wants. But there's some things that are just so special you can't keep them in the box, like the Master Morpher. I couldn't keep the white Ranger 3-0 in the box; had to open it up. It's like I won that Dark Leonardo from the giveaway, the best action Dark Leonardo from the Loyal Subjects. And dude, it is such a sweet figure. I want to open it so bad, but
for those who hasn't, he's got a video about that, so go definitely check it out.
I open Lego sets. I do have.
Well, you gotta open those.
You don't have to. Trust me. There's plenty of people who.
I open my Funkos. And Lady Cat says she opens her Funkos.
It's like
I don't collect Funkos.
Funkos are nice because they're not taped. So if you want to open a Funko Pop, no, they're not. They're usually not taped. They might sometimes be shrink wrapped. I do have several that are shrink wrapped, but usually they're not taped. And so if you're really careful and use like a flat edge, you can easily open that box and take the pop out, display the pop, like clean it back up, put it back in the box, and it still looks just as good. If you were going to have it graded, you might, have your hand slapped a little, but if it's an expensive pop, it ain't going to hurt the value too much.
Yeah, I think I got like 3 or 4, and the one I got was one I got from Fanward from Jeremy Sumter.
Dude, I've got too many, and I don't have a lot compared to a lot of people.
Oh yeah, I can only imagine.
But
I know you are. It's all for love.
I was actually trying to look around to see if there was something that I had actually opened, and There's not
Did
much.
you ever open that? I can see it in the corner behind your Batman signal. The 4-pack Power Ranger,
Which one?
the one on your back wall. The 4-pack Power
Oh,
Ranger.
here. No,
Yeah,
no, I kept it closed.
I did too.
I have 3 of them that are already like of that Art Deco, like, or of that look. I have 3 of them already, like as loose ones. So I was like, matter of fact, I just recently even took it out of the shipper. I had just kept it in the shipper and kept it in the attic for a while. Like all the Mutant Mayhem stuff I have the entire Mutant Mayhem line. And it's all just in boxes because you run out of places to put this stuff eventually.
Mm-hmm.
And you just start amassing it. And now I'm like in this, like, I want more camera gear,
Right.
So I'm like, do I have to sell myself? I might have to. I hear feet go for a lot of money these days.
Well, I'll take your word for that one.
It's funny.
Oh man. Well,
But no, I probably will have to hop here shortly. I think the old throat's gonna give out on me.
Fine.
So
We made the hour. Unless somebody else wants to pop on, you should see the link in the chat. You can come out as a guest and kind of tag Tyler out because I think his voice is giving out. And I'll stay on a little bit longer just to talk, but if not, we'll start winding it down.
Good to see everybody. I appreciate the chat and interaction. If you haven't got a chance to check out the giveaway that was sent to me by the loyal subjects, go check that out. I think that's pretty cool. It was the first time I'd ever won a giveaway or received anything from one of the toy companies. So I was pretty excited about that. And I put a little video up. So go check that out if you don't mind.
Yeah, his video was pretty cool. He did a lot of good editing on it. So
it was the first one with the new camera. So hopefully we can shoot some more stuff. I got tons of things I need to film, so I just got to get to it.
Oh yeah.
But thanks for having me on, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks for coming on. I also did really boring talking to myself.
I'm sure somebody's going to jump on here, no doubt. Otherwise, you can give them all the juicy updates. I'm sure there's a lot of good toy news and pop culture news out there.
I have no idea.
We got Venom coming. We got that movie. We got Wicked.
Yeah, that's coming out this week. The Venom movie. I'm waiting for one of the Deadpool and Wolverine figures got released. I'm just waiting for it to come into GameStop. The one where he's wearing the jacket and has the Deadpool head.
Yep.
The other 2 are supposed to get released this week or next week.
I got to go up to GameStop and try to get them. So wish me luck that I can track them down. Yeah, because I didn't pre-order them, so I'm going to try to catch them in store.
Yeah, you may be able to find them somewhere. Every avenue has them.
We've got like 3 or 4 GameStops here, so I'll just start calling. And if anybody's got the, I could probably find the UPC number. But if anybody's got them, let me know. I guess I get them from GameStop site too, because they'll have the UPC on the site. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, they're on there.
All right, Matt. Thanks for having me, buddy. We'll see you in the next one.
All right, bud. I'll let you go. Feel better.
All right. Bye, everybody.
All right, guys. Now it's just me. And if nobody else wants to kind of jump in and talk about something, I'll probably start winding it down. Gotta get my kiddo. I think she's probably asleep by now. Who knows? But yeah, I appreciate Tyler coming on, talking about Back to the Future 2. Today is October 21st. The reason I picked this is because in the movie, if you haven't watched it, like in Lady Cat, they travel to the future of October 21st, 2015. Of course, years have already passed for that, but I still celebrate the day. But yeah, I want to thank everybody for coming on. If you're liking this content, please like and subscribe. You can find me on all platforms at Mid-10 Geek, which is short for Middle Tennessee Geek. Don't know how that's hard to figure out for some people, but it is. But yeah, make sure you like, subscribe, tell your friends about it. Hopefully we can do more in the future. I know I hadn't done a live in a while, and we had a great response to the last one we did. So got some new audio equipment I'm trying out here. It seems to work good. So, yo, did Legacy just pop in at the last minute? full on sick now. Oh man, I hope he gets feeling better. Oh, yeah, I get it. I know you mentioned this morning, said you had caught whatever been going around the house. So I hope you get feeling better. I know you're sick because I didn't see Facebook and Instagram blown up today with your posts, or maybe I just didn't load them. I don't know. But yeah, did you at least watch Back to the Future movies? Because Milady Cat apparently has not. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, guys. And like Tyler said, definitely go follow him at Tripping Over Toys. He's my new buddy now. We hang out when we can. You know, we don't live far apart from each other. He's doing good content. Definitely better at making videos than me, but that's kind of what he does for a living too. But he's really good at that. Check out his last video. I was really impressed with what he learned to do with his new camera and some editing tricks. So. But yeah, if no one else has got anything to add, I'll kind of just wind it down and hope everybody has a good night. And I'm getting tired because I can't talk. Lexi, again, hope you get feeling better soon. Let a cat stop opening stuff. Just kidding. And Nathan, thanks I know you were here early before I even got started, so appreciate you hanging out with us. Not sure who all is still with us, but we had Real Life Protection Show was on earlier. I know he had to go. Thanks for him coming out. Rolando Flores, I know he was on here. I'm not sure, but thanks for coming out. And I think that's going to be it, guys. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about Back to the Future or any subject matter you'd like to know in future videos or whatnot. Never. And let me know what you'd like to see. And don't be afraid to unleash your geek and let your fandom shine. Have a good night, everybody.